Hello guys, welcome to my video, and today we are going to use AWS SNS, which is Simple Notification Service, to build an application that it is an email notification, so the user can type its email here, sign up, yeah, it was successfully signed up, and then here it has to confirm the email here, confirm subscription. Perfect. Now let's refresh the page. So we have one user here, and then we can go to the screen message here and send a message here. Test subject, test message. Here we can send the message to all of our users who has subscribed to our newsletter or email notification, whatever you want to build. So send the message here. Let's check. It's quite slow, this application here, the temp email that I'm using here, but it is really useful. So here it is, our test subject here. So we got our message. So we are going to build this using NextJS, and let's get started. So here we are in our AWS console here. And here we have to go to Simple Notification Service. We can type here SNS and here Simple Notification Service. Let's click here. And here let's go to topics. Here we can create a new topic here. Let's use the standard. Let's choose a name such as SNS tutorial. Optional. Okay, let's create. So now we have our topic here. So we can maybe create a subscription here. We can select here, let me see, email here. Let's put the email here. Let's get here the temp mail here. So we can use the fake email and we don't need to use our personal email. Here and just create subscription. Perfect. Now we have a subscription here. Let's check topics SNS tutorial, and here it is our subscription. We have to confirm our subscription here. So back to list. Let's confirm here. Confirm subscription. Perfect. Now let's refresh our page here in AWS. Confirmed. Yeah. So now let's publish a message here. Let's test. Subject. Lauren Ipson. Something. I don't know. So yeah. Let's click here and publish message. Our message was published. Let's check it out. Test subject. And perfect. Everything is working here. So now we have to go to our VS Code and start coding the Next.js project, because everything here is working, but it is working in AWS console. We want to build an app that we can use to manipulate everything that we just did it here. So now we are going to use this documentation here. I will leave the link below, and we are going to use this part of the documentation, subscribing an email address to a topic. Here we have two codes. This part of the code that we are going to connect to our client here, to our AWS region. And below we have our code here to subscribe an email. So let's first get this code here and let's copy. Let's go to our VS Code, and here let's paste our code. In the region here, we have to set our region here. Mine is SA East 1. You can put your region here. Your region you can check here. Let me see. This is your region here, so you can check it out here on AWS console. That's mine. So okay. Now let's get the other part of the code. let's get first this import here, just these two. Let's put right above here. Now let's get this one. Let's put right here. Let's save. Okay, so now let's start our server here with yarn dev. Let's go to our local host. Let's open our terminal here. Okay, here we have to fix the path over our libraries here. So let's come back here. Let's type here node modules. Let's save. Here we have the API. It is client.js. Okay, I think it's everything good to go. Let's test again. No, it's not. Client. Oh, there was a typo here. Okay, now is everything good to go? But we are getting an error here. Credential is missing. So what is happening here? Let me explain. We have our protocol, which is an email here, and we have an email address that we have to put here, and we have a topic ARN that we have to insert here. So let's get all of this information. First, the email, we can just put a mock email here like this one. And the topic ARN we can get from our AWS console. So let's get there. And here it is, our ARN. So let's copy here. Let's come back. And let's paste here. Let's save. Okay. Let's refresh our page. But we are still getting our credential is missing here. Why is that? Because we have to configure a service called Cognito, and this service will allow this application here that we are building to access our topic ARN. So now we can't have access to our topic that we created before because we don't have permission. So we have to use another service to get this permission. So let's get started with this service. So now let's go to Cognito documentation and follow the steps written there. So here we have the documentation. The link will be below in the description as well. And I'm going to be following the step 1 and the step 2 of this documentation. And then I'm going to be creating our own code in the VSCODE. So first, we have to sign to the console as well. We are there. Okay. Then let's go here. Type Cognito here. Let's click here. Let's click in Manage Identity Pools. Then here we can create a new identity pool. Let's choose a name here. We can use SNS tutorial as well. Let's enable access to unauthenticated identities. Create pool. Let's click here, view details. Here we can copy this one because we are going to use this later. So let's save this. And now we can click in allow. Perfect. Now we have a code provided to us that we gonna have to implement in our VS Code. Here we can choose JavaScript. And we are going to use this code to implement in our client.js. So let's go to VS Code and start coding here. So here we have our SNS client. We have to import another service from Cognito. So import Cognito identity client. And then we have to import another services as well. Let's just fix the import here. A few imports that we are using here, we have to specify the whole path here. I don't know why, but Some paths we don't need to, but a few we need to. So, okay. So let's start typing here the code here. So credentials. And here let's specify our identity pool. Let's get our identity pool ID here. It is this one. Let's put right here. Perfect. Now we could test our application, but it won't work because let's just test here. Oh, okay, maybe we have to fix the path here. Okay, the import was wrong, the name here, so I just changed it here. It was a typo. Okay, now it is working, but we won't be able to send an email, so we have to use another service called IAM, which is to specify a role to our identity pool here, and then we can use the email and send our subscription here. So let's go to AWS console. So let's go to our step 2 here on the documentation and add a policy to create an IAM role. We are going to do this, and after that, it will work to send an email address. So let's go to our console. Let's type here IAM. Here we can click on roles. We have to find here the SNS tutorial unauth here. It is this one that we have to click. Here we can click in attach policies. Let's search here for SNS full access. Let's check this box and let's attach policy. Now let's test if our application is working. It is not working because there is a typo on the code. So let's go to our VSCODE here and let's fix this. There is no N here. So let's save. Let's come back. And here we can see that you were sent the email here. So let's go to our temp email here and let's check if there is something here. Here, let's check when it was sent. Yeah, just now. So let's just confirm the email here, confirm our subscription, and perfect, it is working now. Now we are done using AWS console. We just have to configure our input here. When we click here, get the email, type it here, and send to the user. And then we have to configure our message as well. So let's first configure the type email here. Let's go to VS Code. Let's go to the index here. And here we can create a function called sync function, maybe register. Let's create here a const called email equals document get element by ID. Let's create an email here and get the value here. Okay, let's come back here. The button, and the input, it is user email actually. So let's change for user. And here on the button, let's put an on click here. So when the user click here, we can send here a function calling register. And okay, let's come back to our function here and let's keep typing our code here. We have our parents here. Let's put right here. Then we have to just delete this, and get this to put inside here. And then let's get the email here and use as our endpoint. Perfect. Let's actually use an alert here to tell us if it worked or not. So your email was successfully signed up. And use an alert as well if there is any error sending. You can use perfect. So let's test if it is working. Let's refresh our page. Let's get the email here. Let's sign up. And your email was successfully signed up. It is working. Let's test here something. Yep, it is working. You can check it out here. Another one, let me see. Yeah, it is working. Here in AWS console, actually we can just delete when we want the email address as well, just to test if you want. Let me show you guys. SNS. Oh, I am in another region. Let's go to our topic here, SNS tutorial, and we can delete this email here. And we can start using again here. Now let's get the real quantity of our active readers here. So for that, we can go to the documentation here, and we are going to use the listing subscription to a topic. So it is this one here. Let me see. List subscriptions by topic command. So let's go to VS Code and start coding this code here. Let's implement here. So we are using NextJS, so we can use the export async function and get static props. We can set the params here. Let's get our topic here equals. Okay. Then let's create a const here with data, and let's await SNS client send new list. We are going to use the list. Where is it? Subscription by topic comments. This one and parents. And let's check it out if it was imported here. No, so let's put here. Let's save. Perfect. Now we have the params here that we are saying. Let's create another const called the subs that we are getting the number here. So data dot subscriptions. And let's create const here with the quantity subs, and let's filter this because we want to get the, let's put here return subscription RARN equals pending. So here you are going to get everyone which is in our application. Let me show you here. So here you can get the status here like pending confirmation, deleted, or confirmed, and we are filtering there to not get the pending confirmation and not the deleted ones. So we just wanted to get the confirmed. So that's why we are using this filter here. And you can check it out using by a console log here, using the data, just to check it out how it's being sent the API for us. But yeah, I think it is everything. Oh, we are missing something here. Let me see. Okay, let's return everything now to props. And this will be returned here. Now we have to come back to our home. Type here subscribe numbers. And let's use this right here. Oh, I think I have to put this outside the return here. Okay. Let's save this. Let's test if it is working or not. Got an error here. Oh, okay. Here we are using equals instead of this. Let's test here if it is working. Let's copy an email here. Let's try here. Okay, the email was sent, but we're not getting here our numbers. Oh, okay. We had to refresh the page. That's why we were not getting the number here. So now let's confirm the email here. Confirm subscription. Perfect, it was confirmed. Now let's refresh our page. Yeah, we are getting here 1 user. So now to finish our application, we just have to finish the message page. And okay, here on the documentation, we have publishing message to a top key. We are going to use this one, which is here, publish comment here. So we are going to have to import and code everything there. So let's go to VS Code, open here the page message, and let's start by importing. Let's import, let's actually copy to make sure that it is right. We just have to fix here, API, client, and here let's create a sync function here. Let's create a const here for the message, for the subject actually. A const for the message here. Now let's create here const params. Here you can use subject and subject. Actually, it is uppercase here. And the message. Yep. Comma here. Okay. Now let's use the try here. Try and catch. The const data. Wait. SNS. Client, new publish comment, use the params here. Okay, let's use a alert here saying message was let's return the data here. Let's create a catch for the error. Let's use alert error sending message maybe. Okay, we are missing here the on click. Okay, I think it is everything good to go. Let's test our application and see if it is working. Let's just refresh to make sure. Test, subby, test, message. And we are getting an error here. Let's see what it is. Okay, we are getting this error because I forgot to specify the ID here. So let's put ID subject. Okay, now let's test again. Refresh the page. Test sub test message. Message was successfully sent. Yeah, let's test here. Let's check it out. Our temp email here. Okay, it was sent. So the application is running fine. Perfect.